ThePorkyYorkie here, doing a little vlog about what happened to me while I was going through school, which, hold on tight, this might take a while. So, all the way through school, I've been a bit of a big bastard. I haven't actually grown at all since I hit 13, apart from outwards. That was sugary drinks. I was actually in the school rugby team for a time until the arthritis set in. Let's get into that later. Anyway, so this is important that I haven't actually grown since I hit 13. I have been 6'4" ever since, and that is sort of, that's been a thing. When I was 13, I was in a rush to get to one of my lessons. I know, I'm a geek, I'm sorry, but it happens. Anyway, and me being observant, I bumped into a teacher. Literally, I walked into a teacher and knocked the poor woman over. Anyway, so I helped her up, and her first words to me were, "At your age and not your shoe size." I'm a size 14 in shoe. I have never laughed so hard in my life. And consequently, I got detention. Another interesting thing that happened in school is that we had our head of year, who was, let's call him for argument's sake, Mr. Duncan, who was 6'7". Now obviously with him only being 3 inches taller than me, we were pretty much at eye level. I was in a snowball fight the day before, and some kid thought it would be a good idea to come up and hit me square on in the face, and they broke my nose. Now, I don't know if you've ever had a broken nose, but if they do it just right, your eye swells up a lot. Now, Mr. Duncan was holding one of the school doors open for me as I was going into his maths class, and I walked into him. Now, Mr. Duncan is an ex-army drill sergeant, so he went absolutely mental with the entire class because I'd walked into him. Something about shirts being untucked, and I'll be honest, I learned to switch off by that point in school. But anyway, I went mental with the entire class and asked me to stay after class. At which point he went mental with me, until he realised that my nose wasn't quite as straight as it used to be. And I explained to him what happened, and got let off with a, "Okay, go to your next class." Another thing that happened, now this was in year 10, when I was sort of semi-prefect-ish. We had prefects, and then we had peer support people, which were like student counsellors. I was one of them. And I was walking my girlfriend at the time home, when this woman called my girlfriend a silly bitch. Now, there is a bit of background to that story. This lass was walking home from, presumably, primary school, and this lass, who looked a little bit like my girlfriend, proceeded to run up behind her, dump melted chocolate in her hood, and throw her hood up, which is not nice. It's not a nice thing for her to do. And obviously this woman had jumped to conclusions, go up to my girlfriend and called her a silly bitch. Now, what she didn't notice was that I was there, and I wasn't there when this lass had put this kid's hood up with melted chocolate in it. So I went mental. She was screaming and shouting at this poor lass, and I turned around and said, get back in your car, you fucking silly cow." I was in my uniform at the time. As such, it all went back to school, and Mr. Duncan was the one who was dealing with it. Now, I should add, I was a little bit creative all the way through school. I was very creatively minded, and so when I was asked to write an apology letter to her, I may have sneaked in there a disclaimer along the lines of, "Anything that happens in this is purely a work of fiction." Luckily, they never found that, and as far as they're aware, I still apologise to this day, which is nice. Of course, the main thing about school is that, of course, you have a fair few girlfriends while you're going through school. I can count the amount that I had on one hand, including my right hand. The girl that I had after that, we were together for 2.5 years. It was all the way through the rest of secondary school, plus a bit more after that. And soon came the secondary school prom, and for obvious reasons I couldn't take her with me. At the time I had this rusty old scooter lying about, so I thought, I know, I'll take the scooter to prom. The prom was in a place called Escrick, about 3 miles south of York, about 5 miles away from where I lived at the time. And I may have ridden there and got a bit warm. You see, most people go to the proms in a great big stretch limo and stuff like that. I went on a scooter, and I danced with my scooter at the prom. But the day after that we went to the prom after party, both me and my girlfriend. The scooter wasn't invited, unfortunately, where we spent our first night together. Now, I'm not saying that we did anything dirty, because we didn't do anything dirty. We just happened to fall asleep. It's actually, we just passed out in exactly the same place. So we actually woke up and we were cuddling, and it was really cute. But yeah, that's a story for a different day. Anyway, that's it from me for this week. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves, and that was a little insight into what happened all the way through school. ThePorkyYorkie out.